The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
This is John Silver, lead recruiter of the Dark Order, and you are listening to All Things Elite.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this special Forbidden Door review episode of Social Suplex's podcast about AEW with a proclivity for positivity. Welcome to All Things Elite, covering AEW Forbidden Door, which just finished up yesterday as we are recording this late Monday night. My name is Austin Sumwitz. I am the host of this lovely show. Joining with me, as always, is my good buddy and friend, Floyd Johnson Jr. My man, how you doing?
Doing well, and you're actually getting, it's a double review night. I actually just listened to most of the review of One Nation Radio, and Keeping It Strong Style did a joint review of Forbidden Door. Keeping It Strong Style is the official New Japan podcast of Social Suplex, and One Nation Radio is kind of like our hodgepodge podcast with Rich Latta and James Boyd, and they talk about everything in wrestling. So, of course, one of the big things of the week is Forbidden Door. So they had Keeping It Strong Style on to do it. So they have an awesome episode over there. I listened to about an hour of it while Raw was on. It was amazing. And I can honestly say they had some different takes than what I have. So you should be getting unique experience listening to both of them. So, but other than that, I'm doing great. I gotta say, and I don't want to throw it in too many times in the show, so I'm gonna just get it out the way. It was absolutely fucking weird to not be at a pay-per-view.
Yeah,
yeah, and I was like, I know you have a heartbreaking story that I should like. The fact that you're doing this podcast and you were able to make it through the show, I don't know if I would have. You are a much stronger young man than me, because
trust me, you can talk to Cindy, dude. I was not feeling good about myself.
Yes, no, we've all made those mistakes, So
as you guys may know, if you did listen to last night's episode, I was super gassed and super excited because basically after AEW Dynamite at the Wintrust Arena in Chicago, the announcements were coming down the pipe of what Forbidden Door was going to fully have on the card too, and of course Punk's match got announced against Kojima-san, and I looked at Cindy and I'm like, we have to go, and so we got tickets while we were at Dynamite, and now I was under the impression the entire time that because I didn't have my passport renewed. I knew that going into this. It expired, unfortunately, back in February, and they don't let you renew it on, or at least start the renewal process online anymore. You have to you have to do it all in person. So that was never going to happen in time anyway, and it takes forever for them to send it anyway. I've had experience with that. But I was like, but I have my enhanced driver's license, which will let me cross the border, which works for people in Michigan. So I was like, I'm good. I woke up the morning of Forbidden Door as we were about to get ready to go, in about a couple hours or so. And I checked one last time just to make sure I had all the information right, because I didn't want to drive to the border all of a sudden and realize, I fucked up and I can't go. So I check. Turns out I have the real ID. So if you're from Michigan or if you have a driver's license that has real ID, which most people do because I think they require it now, it has the little gold star on the top right corner. An enhanced driver's license features a little U.S. flag right next to your picture on your license. Now you have to pay to get that. So the fact that I saw that difference between what I had and I looked at my license that I didn't have that, that's when I realized, okay, so I fucked up. Now, and again, like I was looking online for weeks and I was kind of getting confused on the information I was getting. Like some places said it worked, some places said it didn't. I was like, why can't I just get a straight answer? So that's the reason why I have a license with real ID, but not an enhanced driver's license that would allow me to cross the border with that. So because of that, we couldn't go to Forbidden Door. And I tried selling the tickets the day of. I had 2 people who were interested, but then later backed out on me. And it is what it is. But the thing that bummed me out the most part about it was the fact that my sister, Sydney, lovely sister Sydney, who was so excited to go to this show as well, her passport is still valid for another like year or 2, I think. So she would have been able to cross the border fine. But because my passport's out of date and I don't have an enhanced driver's license like I thought I did, I was what was holding us back. So I was furious at myself. I felt so awful. And because I just felt like I fucked this whole thing up. And like she never paid for the tickets. Like she hadn't paid me back for the tickets anyway. And it's fun because like I bought them. It was me who made the buying decision. So the fact that I wasn't able to sell them either or get anything back of it, again, it was an absolute punch to the gut. And then, yes, like Floyd said, he's like, I don't know how I would have been able to get through the show. Trust me, dude. When we finished, like, because I was already being like, once Okada Ospreay finished, I was like, we should have fucking been there. We should have fucking been there for that match. And then I nearly broke down when like Danielson came out to the final countdown. I literally threw something. I'm like, like if I wasn't a schmuck, we would be there. And people were being really nice, being like, hey, shit happens, dude. We've already been very fortunate of the stuff that we've been able to see live as AEW and wrestling fans. So I'm starting to forgive myself a little bit of it, but I do still feel like an absolute fucking just dumbass because of that. Because again, it would have been so much easier if we got the tickets when they first went on sale, because then I would have been like, okay, passport, get that renewed. Okay, also, if that doesn't get here in time, enhanced driver's license, make sure I'm good on that. Oh, I don't have the thing. Okay, I have to go pay for that and get that. That would get sent in like 2 weeks, so then we would make sure we would have gotten that on time. I didn't do any of that because we bought the tickets literally the Dynamite before Forbidden Door. So even if like I tried after I bought the tickets, there was no way any of that stuff would get here on time. No way. So basically just by buying the tickets, I just gave ourselves false hope. So, it is what it is. I won't let that take away from the fact that Forbidden Door was an absolutely fantastic show. And we'll get into the whole deal, but I'll just say straight up, I think Will Ospreay Omega 2 is my new favorite match I've ever seen. Like straight up. The only thing that would come a little bit close, I feel like, would be either CM Punk's first match back at AEW with Darby Allin for personal reasons. And then the only other one I could think of would be shout out NXT TakeOver New Orleans. It would be the unsanctioned match between Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. That match had me going crazy. I have to straight up say. But yeah, so that it is what it is. But yeah,
I completely understand. As a person who has been traveling to wrestling for the better part of over 20 years, actually. Good Lord, I'm old. Over 20 years. I can tell you, I have made many a mistake, and it's generally with the best of intentions. It's not like you're like, oh, I'm gonna mess this up, or I'm gonna it's like, oh, you had the best of intentions and shit just went wrong. So it's unfortunate part of life. You will live and you learn. You will never make this mistake again. And that's all you can count on, really. Is you're never going to make this mistake again. And it was an expensive mistake. I've actually bought fake tickets before.
Yeah.
So I've bought fake tickets. This was early on in the Floyd traveling. And that cost me, I think it was $450. Yeah. So you always you make mistakes and you learn from them and you move on. It sucks that had to happen. Like I said, I did not know. My friend from New York told me about the real ID versus. He said real ID. He didn't even say enhanced ID. He said real ID. So I was very much under the impression that that the real ID would work. So believe me, I would have been in a very similar situation. The thing about me is I probably wouldn't have checked before I left. And so I would have been even in a more screwed situation because I would have showed up to the border and they'd be like, "Oh, you can't get in the country," and I'd be like, "Well, why?" And they'd be like, "Well, you have this ID and you needed this ID," and then I would have cried at the border and hope that they let me in. But so believe me,
to put it in perspective, like from my house to the border, which is near Sarnia, basically. The from that whole deal, it would be what would the distance be actually? Let me make sure I got that confirmed. But yeah, it would be basically, it wouldn't actually be the worst drive ever. It would be about an hour drive, so it's not terrible, honestly. Getting from, but I would be driving through construction and like during peak times, it would honestly be probably a lot more harder to get there, like because of traffic and construction in Michigan because the roads suck. But it wouldn't have been awful, but I will say still, the drive back would have been miserable. I have to say, if I drove to the border and they turned us away because of me being a fucking idiot, I would have felt so bad. So like I said, I'm very glad I at least caught that first because it could have been so much worse. That drive home would have probably been the worst drive ever. And if my sister wasn't in the car, I'd probably consider driving into a fucking tree because it would have been terrible.
So I am very, like I said, it's one of those situations where, again, it sucks. I'm not one of those people like, oh, it could have been worse. No, it sucks. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. But it's like you'll be better for it in the future with
all this means is that I mean, like Sydney's now looked at me and it's like, you know what this means though, right? It's like we have to be at All Out, and I'm like, I will 1,000% try. We were at All Out last year. I had this job. I should be able to get that Labor Day weekend off completely fine to be in the clear in that regard, and I should be good. We should be able to go to All Out. So that's just our makeup show at this point. So
yeah,
Chicago, man. I swear to God, I gotta get like a fucking apartment in Chicago or something. Even if I don't, I'd make the money back on it just by the amount of times I go to goddamn Chicago.
I have said this before many times that I will never leave Oklahoma. I am a Oklahoman through and through. I'm very clear about that. But if I was to move anywhere, it would be a suburb of Chicago. And at that point in time, I would probably stop traveling for wrestling. Because generally, just wait a minute and something's coming to Chicago, that kind of thing. When you come to Oklahoma, when you live in Oklahoma, nothing, like really nothing comes here. So if you want to see big shows, you gotta go. So it's it would be really cool to live in a major city, but it's like, I don't know. It's like my Road Warrior stories. I love to, I get to tell wrestlers my Road Warrior stories, and they'd be like, you make towns like we do, and I'm like, dude, like I feel like it sometimes. I feel like it.
Yeah, damn
like,
straight.
Especially when you get in the morning and you're going in and you see a wrestler as you walk past, and it's like, and it's not like hey, I see this wrestler. It's like, oh, I just saw you 20 minutes ago, and you kind of give each other the nod and keep going. So it's
right, exactly.
Yeah, like because it's so old hat at that point. So no, I'm really looking for, like I said, it was, I'm looking forward to All In, and because of some friends, and we'll talk about this later, because some friends came over and watched the show with me, I will be attending All Out, which I didn't think there was any way. I didn't think there was any way that I could actually make that happen. But my friends have said, hey, we'll do the thing, basically do the things that you need to be there. And I'm like, so it's going to be weird because I'm going to get back Monday night, right? Probably going to work, then work Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. Friday morning, my friend's going to pick me up. We're going to drive to Chicago. and then we're going to do Collision. We'll be there Friday night, and if they do anything Saturday, we'll go to that, and then we'll do Collision All Out, and then drive back on Monday.
Sweet, dude. Yeah, no, I the one last thing I'll say on this before we actually talk about Forbidden Door is that the one genuine thing that was nice still is that, like, because if I would have tried to go to the show and all that kind of stuff, and I would have had to drove home, like, thankfully, like I said, I'm back home basically recently because of my new job, so I've been able to live with my family for a little bit of time. If I had to drive back from that kind of mistake and I had to go back to my house by myself and then watch Forbidden Door by myself, it would have been miserable. I promise you. Like, I would have been exactly what Floyd said. Like, I wouldn't have been able to get through it because I'd just be mad and depressed and be like, I should be there. I should be there. The fact that I was able to watch it with my amazing little sister next to me as well, and she was all right too because she actually got on a Skype call with a bunch of her friends and got to watch the show and stuff like that. So it was fun that way. So she still got a lot of enjoyment. And our awesome dad actually stayed up and watched the whole show. Like, he doesn't normally stay up for all the shows and stuff like that. But I told him about, Okada and Danielson. I told him about, like, when you see Ospreay Omega, dude, like, I watched that Wrestle Kingdom match. Holy shit. And he couldn't believe it. Like, he was freaking out at that match. So the fact that I got to spend Forbidden Door with my amazing, like, family who I am I'm so grateful to, because not a lot of people have. I'm grateful that I have a relationship like that with my family, because I know some people don't. I have friends who have had, like, they've been estranged with their parents and all that kind of stuff, and sometimes things get toxic, and this is a luxury, I feel like, in a lot of ways. Not a lot of people get this. So the fact that I got to get this with wrestling, with an amazing show, like, makes up for me being a fucking idiot, which they put up with a lot, I have to say, which, again, so grateful.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about some wrestling.
Let's talk about this fucking show, dude. It was so good. It was so good. So I will say this, though. I want to get this general question out of the way, because you were at Forbidden Door 1 with us.
Uh-huh.
Better or worse?
I personally believe the best match on Forbidden Door 2 was the best match of Forbidden Door. Yeah. I truly believe, and I try to be pretty much as unbiased as humanly possible, because I am a human. So I truly believe last year was better. As from a bell to bell, top down show, I believe last year was better. That's just my initial, beginning reaction. I think last year was better. I mean, if someone's like, well, you're stupid, this year's better, I won't get mad at you. I won't.
Right.
I mean, I think they were two really good shows. And don't get me wrong. That's what I think they were two good shows, but I just think for me, my personal preferences, last year was probably better to me, but
It definitely helped that FTR was on the show.
Absolutely. Definitely. I mean, it was never going to be 7 stars. This show was never going to be 7 stars, because you can't be 7 stars without FTR. But I will say,
I also have to say, too, the big thing I would say, at least about Forbidden Door 1, that sets it apart, because obviously, like I said, the best match, like what Floyd said, the best match of Forbidden Door 2 was the best match of Forbidden Door 1. I can't disagree with that. It's because it's legitimately true. But the amount of hell that happened leading up to Forbidden Door 2, that show could have been set up to be a train wreck. And it came out and it was the best show. Like, it was the best show of the year.
Absolutely.
Like, hands down. Like, considering the amount of people that couldn't be there because of either injury or illness or stuff like that, or people couldn't get over from Japan or everything like that, dude. We had like fucking 4 different things I think changed for that show, and it still ended up being absolutely outstanding. That is why I would personally say Forbidden Door 1 tops Forbidden Door 2 as a whole. But Forbidden Door 2 also had Omega Ospreay.
Correct.
And we got Okada in a fatal 4-way match, which is always fun. But Okada in a singles match, there's levels to this, guys.
Yeah.
There's levels to this. I'm just saying. But
I mean, and I will say this: if Bryan Danielson and Okada, and we'll talk about this as we go through the match by match, was what I thought it was going to be, I would probably say this one was better.
Exactly.
It wasn't, and we found out there was a very good reason for that. And like I said, we'll talk about it in a minute. But yeah, let's start breaking down the show, because I keep saying we're going to talk about it in a minute. We might as well get to talk.
No, yeah, I just wanted to ask that question
absolutely.
First. But so we opened up the show. We'll get quickly through the 0 hour portion of the thing. Mogul Embassies versus El Desperado and Chaos opened the show. Swerve did a damn good job on this too, and I gotta say as well, El Desperado clearly not wanting to be with Chaos and Best Friends and Roppongi Vice and all that, like him being like just stuck in the hug and not wanting to be there was very, very funny. Brian Cage like took Trent and absolutely fucked him over on the apron too. And Swerve got the big win on Rocky Romero, which I do like that Swerve is continuing to, get some momentum and at least give the Mogul Embassies a little bit of stuff. Because Gates of Agony, like they're there. They're fine, but it at least kind of gives the Mogul Embassy a little bit more to work off of too. But this was a solid opening buy-in match, I would say.
I thought it was really good. And if you have not noticed this, you should be noticing this. This person by the name of Swerve Scott is a heel only by name. Every match that he's in, whose house? Swerve's house.
Yeah,
whose
seriously.
house? He does something dastardly, they cheer him. It's at this point where this man is so good at his job that seems like he's gonna have to force a face turn soon, because it's just
real.
It's just he's being cheered every time he comes out there, or he's gonna have to just turn up the villainy or a little bit.
Yeah, or just like calm down, like with the high spots that like get people riled up.
But yeah, right now he is on this level. Right now, we were in Chicago, and it felt like Toronto was just as hot. Cheering him really hard. And this dude, he's put on weight. He put on Twitter that he's 220 pounds now. So he's doing the work on he did the work on his physique. I mean, there's not a lot he can do. I remember they called Anthony Bowens the 5-tool player. Swerve is very much the same 5 tools. It's like the thing that he comes out in is ridiculous.
Yes.
With the mask and the jacket, it's ridiculous. It shouldn't work, but he's so cool and he's so charismatic. He makes it work. Like, it literally looks like he went and got like a mask from like Dick's Sporting Goods or something, and just
Party City,
or something like that. It just looks terrible, but he makes it work. It's just like, and I'll tell you, I've hated people like that all my life, where they can do stuff that's stupid and still look cool. Yeah, that man is on that level right now. He can wear what he wants. He can pretty much do what he wants, and the fans are behind him. I do think a lot, his talent, not taking away anything from his talent, but his music is pretty amazing.
That's what I'm saying, dude. The music also helps a lot too.
Yeah, like his whole presentation feels like a star, and I feel like the fans are starting to accept him as a star. And it's like, TK, put your hand up to your ear like Hogan and listen. Crowd's telling you what they want.
Or put your hand up to your ear like CM Punk.
That's true, because best leg drop in the business, CM Punk.
Toronto was so mad. They were so mad, but we'll get to it. Owen Hart Owen Hart Foundation Women's Tournament matchup. Ring of Honor Women's World Champion Athena versus Billy Starks. I'll give all my flowers and all my love to Billy Starks, but Athena is so fucking good. She is so good. I will not stop screaming about Athena, for real.
Yeah, I got to steal a line from my boy Rich Latta. He I didn't hear what he said about it tonight, but he always said Roderick Strong is wrestling like he ain't going back. And so that means he wrestles his ass off ever, because he's not going back to the hood or whatever. I feel like Athena's in that level right now. Like, every match like whether I'm watching our ROH on Thursdays, whether she was working dark, whether she's working, anything, she is putting her all into every match, and she's really showing herself as a top tier performer. It's like, oh my God. And everybody's like, where was this Athena at? I mean, she was always there.
She was always there, dude.
She's just a really good wrestler. She doesn't need like the super gimmicks and all this stuff. She's just a really good wrestler. And
That's
she
the thing,
just
dude.
goes
Like,
out there and performs.
You go back and watch her in NXT, dude. It was there. It was there. Like, it was in there in spurts in WWE. You just never got to see her because they never used her.
Yeah.
Like, like, this girl is going on Ring of Honor, and she's getting fucking superplex off of the apron through a fucking chair contraption of just devastation.
Yeah,
and
she's killing
wrestling like a couple nights later.
Yeah, she's killing it every week. I gotta give her credit. She's she's killing it right now. She's really on a different level. I would love to see her more featured on, like Dynamite and Collision. There's another show, so maybe we'll see that in the future.
What I'm personally hoping for, honestly, is that I think it would be a good idea to have. This is me fantasy booking a little bit, but like my idea would be I would like Sky Blue to feud with Athena on Ring of Honor, win the Ring of Honor Women's Championship from Athena. They finish out their feud. Athena goes to Dynamite and starts tearing it up while Sky Blue holds it down at Ring of Honor for a little bit. And that's when Sky Blue can come back. And then, because I know they really want to use Sky Blue and they've loved her and she's been great. I think getting a title on her would be great. I just don't think the TBS Championship or the Ring of Honor, or the AEW Women's Championship, I don't think any of those spots are there for Sky Blue yet. So I think her winning the Ring of Honor Women's Championship off of Athena and then allowing Athena to move up, I think that works out well. And it gets both girls a lot of credibility and a lot of triumph that I think they deserve.
You know what? That sounds good to me. I honestly, anything that gets Athena more on the TV, doing her
Damn
thing,
straight.
doing her thing. I mean, I honestly never a big fan in NXT, and I just wasn't. She was fine. She had a great finisher, but I wasn't that person when it looked like she might end Asuka's streak. I was like, I don't think she's the person. This new aggressive, angry Athena.
This is her best version for sure.
This is her best work. This is the version I'm a fan of. I can imagine it was always there, but she's finally getting to show it. So,
trust me, trust me. Angry Athena has always been a thing. You want proof of that? Watch her lose to Candice LeRae in Pokemon Stadium on Up Up Down Down.
Oh,
Candice LeRae wiped the floor in the finals of a Pokemon Stadium tournament that Up Up Down Down did. And Athena got wiped, like she got the shit wrecked out of her, and she got like genuinely hot, like and heated. And Candice LeRae, like Johnny Gargano was supporting her because Athena beat her earlier in the tournament, and she got Johnny Gargano literally got Candice a like crystal Togepi necklace and a crystal Mewtwo as well. To get in there, and she was all dressed up as like Team Rocket, like cosplay. And Athena's so mad that she's losing, and then she yells at her boyfriend when he gets back, being like, "She got a crystal Togepi and all this kind of stuff. You didn't get me anything, and I'm losing now because of this." She got so mad. It's amazing. So if you haven't seen that, seek that out for real.
Dude, Up Up Down Down has the history of it has introduced me to so many like characters. I remember Jimmy and Jay were still doing the painted face dance thing before it, and I remember watching the show, and I was like, and you'd see them going at each other, and I'm like, why are they not doing this on TV?
Dude, did you see the episode where they were playing Austin Creed was playing? We'll get off topic for a split second. Did you see the episode where Austin Creed was playing Star Wars Battlefront with Cody Rhodes as Stardust?
No, I did not see that.
You haven't seen that?
No.
Oh, I'm sending that to you, dog. Dude, it's so funny because he's in character a little bit, and he's doing stupid shit, but at the same time running off Star Wars facts as they're playing the whole thing.
Yes, Cody loves the Star Wars.
Oh, we know.
He's so weird because he's very much like me. Like, I'm pretty much equal Star Wars and Star Trek.
I never watched Star Trek.
I might be a little bit. I started last June, and I've watched every episode of every Star Trek show in the last year. So,
I don't have time.
Well, that's all I have is time. Just put it that way. So I watched every episode. I went through Star Trek, Next Generation, DS9, Voyager. I even watched the other show that everyone told me not to watch. I forgot what it was called. It was with Scott Bakula. I think it was Enterprise. Was it just Star Trek Enterprise? And I watched every episode, and I became a huge I like Star Trek. I can't say I'm a huge fan because I'm not going to go back and watch them all again or anything.
Right.
But I really did enjoy it or enjoy the time. So that would be interesting to watch. It's probably something someone has sent to me in the past because I was a huge fan of Stardust. I know people probably think I should be embarrassed to say that. I'm not. Huge fan of Stardust, and so so that would be cool. It might even been something that I watched before and forgot I watched, but we'll find out when I watch it later.
Yeah, but anyways, getting back on track, finishing up the 0 hour matches. Stu Grayson versus El Phantasmo was fine, I will say. Good to see ELP. I don't really have too much to say. It was a solid match, I would say. That's all I really got.
I remember watching it, and I remember a lot of cool stuff happened. I literally don't know who won.
It was El Phantasmo.
Oh, okay, El Phantasmo. Because I remember Stu Grayson hitting the 450, but I didn't remember. Yes. I didn't remember if he actually got the pin on that or what happened. We had snacks, and I think I got up and went and got a snack.
Yeah, we ordered pizza, so it was fine. And United Empire versus Los Ingobernables de Japón. I got Hiromu Takahashi. I didn't get Daryl, though. I wanted Daryl. We didn't get Daryl. I'll put up with it, but I got Hiromu. I'm all good with that.
And I got my boy Shingo.
Yeah. And then, dude, it was so fucking weird seeing TJP. I'm sorry. I know he's in United Empire, but it was so fucking weird seeing him.
Yeah, TJP is very much like him and I forgot his name, but he has a tag partner and they're the junior tag team champions.
Is it Fletcher or is it Jeff Cobb?
No, it's not neither one. It's a Francisco New Japan junior tag titles. Akira. Okay. Yeah. Francisco. Is it Francisco Akira? But yeah, it's Akira, and they've been the junior tag team champions like a long time. They lost it and then pretty much got it back really recently. So it was very much a IWGP junior tag team title history. There you go, and we are down to TJP and Francesco Akira were the champions, and they lost the belts, and I think they won them back recently. So yeah, they are the junior tag team champions there. So they were pretty much United Empire was running the tag division in New Japan for a while there, because technically they had all the tag belts because before they had to give them up, Aussie Open were the Strong and New Japan Tag Team Champions, and then Akira and TJP were the Junior Tag Team Champions. So they literally had all the United Empire had all the tag belts in New Japan at one point. Fair enough.
Well, also, last thing I will say about 0 Hour, let's give a big shout out to Chris Charlton. Chris Charlton from New Japan. Good to hear him on the buy-in at the very least. So we full on had Kevin Kelly and Chris Charlton. So I was good to see him at least commentate a little bit of the 0 Hour matches before he disappeared into the ether back through the forbidden door. Just wanted to say shout out to them. But moving on though, opening the show with the man who wanted to get out of Toronto as fast as humanly possible. Didn't want to watch a show full of a bunch of indie no names from Japan. Maxwell Jacob Freeman, MJF versus the Ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi for the AEW World Championship. MJF comes out and he's got his robe that says New Japan is an indie, which so fucking funny. So funny.
And then he had Ace My Ass on the elbow pads.
That's right. Yeah, Ace My Ass. Yeah, I forgot about that.
So I saw it and it said Ace is. And his catchphrase is mid. So I was like, does this say Ace is mid? And then somebody had froze it and it said Ace My Ass. I think he should have put Ace is mid. I think that would have been better.
It would have been definitely, I think it would have fit a little bit more. But regardless, that was dope. But Tanahashi, I know his match that he had leading into Forbidden Door was a little bit, it was a little like, you could see the age show a little bit with Ace. But I think this definitely helped a lot more because MJF works way more of a, for lack of a better term, sports entertainment style where there's way less just move. He gets in between and he does a lot of stuff to play to the crowd and give a little bit more breathing room, whether it be fucking around playing the fake air guitar and then air humping and flipping fans off and doing all this kind of stuff. He tried to walk back up the ramp, and Tanahashi got the crowd to chant "coward," which then made MJF go back up the ring. But honestly, it was still a really good match, I will say, though. It was a solid match to open up the show, and MJF doing as he does best, really giving it to Tanahashi and cheating as best he can by shoving Tanahashi into the ref as he proceeds to go and hit him with the Dynamite Diamond Ring. That's how he ends up getting the pinfall to retain the AEW World Championship. It was good, honestly, a good start to it, and it did justice for the Ace, too, who looked good in this match, I have to say.
What's lost on MJF, and I think he is so good on the mic, he's such a despicable heel, but he understands what it takes to be a heel. He works to the speed of his opponent. He never tried to rush. Exactly. He never tried to rush Tanahashi. He never tried to do anything. When Tanahashi was on the top ropes and he was taking forever, I saw it with Swerve on Saturday night. They adjusted for it. MJF sold for him, made him look really, really strong, and took the finish home. And it felt like he stole one from Tanahashi.
It does,
and it's like MJF's just really good. People, like I said, him being such a good character, and him being such a good on the mic, and him just being such an asshole makes people forget how exceptional of a professional wrestler is.
Again, like I said, it's why I go back with people telling me he's not there yet. I'm like, no, he's there. MJF is there. I'm saying, if he's not in your top 10 wrestlers like currently going today, you're not watching wrestling. You're not like looking hard enough because MJF is out here legitimately running professional wrestling in a way of heels. Like there's like people talk about is like, I love Dominic Mysterio, what he's doing. He's not MJF.
Yes.
MJF didn't need mommy to be able to be the biggest heel. I just have to say.
When they talk about the four pillars, and they talk about the four pillars for what AEW likes, they pick the correct four pillars for the gimmick because they are four amazing in-ring performers, right? But I always talk about when you talk about the four pillars, the one that's actually a pillar of the company, and I said MJF. And the reason is he's amazing on the mic, he's amazing on the ring, he steps up. I have yet to see a swing and a miss with MJF.
No, I haven't either.
I've yet to see him look anything but comfortable in the ring. He looked like he's in there with Tanahashi, one of the legends of New Japan. I always say, I call him the John Cena of New Japan because I always said if you watch, I saw Tanahashi kind of later in his career where he started playing up all the injuries and all that kind of stuff. I never saw peak Tanahashi. So for a while I didn't get him, but I do understand how much the fans love him. It would be like if you started watching John Cena in year 15, it's like, okay, why does he do this? Why does he do this? Because you didn't see the character build. So I always say Tanahashi's on that level. And last night, again, you see Tanahashi's age, but that's the one person that's undefeated is Father Time. So you saw his age, but he's still the ace. And the reason I think he still was the ace is because MJF sold for him. And I loved Kevin Kelly talking about how the turnbuckles are different. That's why he wasn't able to get his footing because it was real, and you saw it playing out. The turnbuckle pad is different in New Japan to AEW, and he literally couldn't get his footing. And it was, I don't know if the turnbuckle pads were slick or they're too narrow or what's going on. It affected him in both of his matches. So hopefully if he comes back to work in AEW, he can get a little bit more comfortable with the turnbuckles, because
and again,
the high five flow is a huge part of his offense. It's
absolutely. But also too, let's make this clear. Like, can we shout out Kevin Kelly, dude? I was so happy that he is the main play-by-play guy for Collision. I love that he's working Collision as a head commentator. I love that. And him doing this stuff with New Japan, dude, like, and now being on Forbidden Door, dude. Like, Kevin Kelly, dude, I've got so much love and respect for Kevin Kelly. Like, he was super cool to me. Like what I say, when I got to see him at All In Starcast, and he's a legend in my eyes, dude. I got, like, and he's so good at what he does. He's so good. He's been doing it for so many years. Like, I got nothing but love and praise for Kevin Kelly, for real. Like, that needs to be said. Like,
yeah,
yes, what he said in this match, like, talking about, like, giving context and really protecting protecting Tanahashi by giving good explanations, like, why this is what it is.
Yeah, so I thought he was exceptional. I always say I kind of ignore most announcing. I thought he was exceptional in this match with Tanahashi.
For real. Next up, Owen Hart Foundation Men's Tournament quarterfinal. CM Punk versus Satoshi Kojima. Toronto no likey to CM Punk. Your mark is showing.
Yeah.
Your mark is showing you. You're so mad. You're so mad.
Okay.
Like,
I have to say what I said on social media. We must forgive them. This is the group that cheered Hulk Hogan over The Rock. You know, see how that turned out with Hulk Hogan. So they don't know better. They don't know better. So I'm going to forgive them this one time. Now, when CM Punk graces you with his presence again, you cheer him. You cheer him.
Show respect to the best in the world.
Your favorite's arms are not long enough to box with the god that is CM Punk.
Yep. Talking for real now.
Yeah.
Because people were, like, honestly being like, are you upset about this? Like, why would I be upset? Like, do you hear this crowd, dude? Yes. They are feral. They are in a tizzy. They can't control themselves. This is a quarterfinal match, not even a semifinal or a finals match for this Owen Hart tournament. It's only the second time this tournament has happened against a guy like, listen, Satoshi Kojima is a legend. I've heard from many New Japan fans that, like, or specifically Japanese fans, like, they're kind of upset because in Japan, like, he doesn't really get as much shine as he used to, but he got a lot of shine in the Canadians' eyes, which was awesome to see. Got to give and loved Kojima. He was so cool to see in this match.
Let me ask, did they love him or did they hate CM Punk?
That's a toss-up, honestly. I can't answer that question, but let me say this right now, dude. Like, and I said it on the Collision on the last episode when we were talking about Collision, dude. This is like John Cena level, like, reactions times 1,000. Because that's the thing. John Cena was just being John Cena. And he was getting those mega split reactions and just getting huge reactions because he's John Cena. CM Punk is getting these reactions on top of the fact that people see this outside drama and it adds to it. Cena never had drama like this. They just didn't like Cena, or they love Cena because he's the top star in the company and they love that, or because he's the top star in the company and they hate that. CM Punk is a megastar and people hate that and hate the things that happen backstage, or they love him for the reasons that I love him. This is incredible. Like, I was giddy with joy watching this because I just, like I said, I've said before, dude, when this blows off, oh my God. Because, hey, listen, this was the first show. Both the Elite and CM Punk were at this show. From Meltzer's mouth himself, he said things seem to be a little bit more peaceful. Not fully, but a little bit more. Because it had to be. They were both at the same fucking show. Okay? And he did it after the match, too. Going towards the heel entrance. Back to the face entrance for right now. He going down that entrance pretty soon, guys.
You know who started this, right? I have to give the shout out to my boy, the wrestler that started this faking going down the wrong entrance. His name was Cody Rhodes.
Yes, it was.
He would fake like he was going left and then go right. Well, the thing about Mr. Punk, I feel like he's coming home soon. Everybody's like, "Oh, they're booing your boy Punk." I'm like, good. I like if you know me very well, from when I list my favorite wrestlers of all time, they have something very, very much in common. They tend to wear black hats. So yeah, I'm waiting. I mean, I'm waiting. I am conspiracy theorist 101. I believe that's the reason they rushing so much CMFTR merch out right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why you've gotten 2 shirts and a hoodie. I don't see them. They have not put out this much merch for anybody this quick. They did the Punk Tuesday shirt. They did the Larry shirt. I think they're getting as much Punk CMFTR merch sold as they can before something happens where people are not going to be as excited to buy their merch. Well,
they'll be wearing the black hats, but we will. We'll be buying that shit.
I'll still be wearing it. I was about to say, I'm looking for me a nifty black cowboy hat to start wearing the wrestling shows. I just want to let y'all know, boo my guys. I'm please. The more you hate them, the better that they're doing. And no, CM Punk last night looked like he was seriously in his element.
And he was having such a ball, dude. The fact that he did a little callback to that sit-down interview he did with Samoa Joe during like prime Ring of Honor days, where he talked about the crank call he did on Gabe Sapolsky pretending to be Homicide. Kojima, lariat, Kojima. I was dying. I was losing my shit. I was just like, I cannot, because I remembered that. I was like, it's so crazy he's going to be wrestling Kojima. He literally made that joke like all those years ago back in Ring of Honor when he did that little fun little sit-down shoot interview with Samoa Joe, and it's so fucking funny. And now people are overlaying that on top of him doing it in the ring. So good. Also, fucking Kojima elbow dropped this man in the dick. Like, let's not mince words here. Kojima came down for an elbow drop and landed straight on Punk's like dick, like, and he's just like, I don't have the technology to fix that. I'm like, it is what it is, and I'm like, I understand, Kojima. If you elbow me in the dick, I would say thank you. I'd say thank you, Kojima-san. I would not tell you otherwise because I'm kind of scared of you a little bit. But it was outstanding. The match finished great as he hits the roundhouse kick and then gets the GTS, pins Kojima, and then shows him the respect that he deserves after the match. I gotta say, very classy. And then, like I said, am I going heel? Not right now. Just you wait, guys. Just you wait. The moment CMFTR gets their black caps and they find them, because right now they don't have them. They got lost in their last bag, like last suitcase or something like that on the road. They're gonna find those black hats and they're gonna wear them proud. And y'all are going to be so mad. You already are. You can't contain yourself with these guys. Like, you stop remembering that wrestling is not real. You get into an absolute feral tizzy when these guys come out. And I love it. Like I said, it was the first shows that we had CMFTR when they weren't in Chicago. I absolutely saw this coming. I thought in Chicago it was going to be split, to be fair. I was completely wrong on that part because, look, Chicago don't care. It's their guy. But, yeah, Toronto, very smart crowd. Not smart enough to like CM Punk, though. That's on you, though. But it's fine. You know, you do you guys.
They like the Maple Leafs, so...
Yeah, exactly. And again, let me shout out to because did we get to talk about this after Collision where he said I think he did say that we did talk about this where he said like I will take the loss as the team leader for this match, but I just want you all to know that even though I lose sometimes, I'm going to come back and fight harder and get better, just like your Toronto Maple Leafs. Hey, again, tell me when he's telling lies. I've heard no lies told since he came back.
Yes. And every time, like, someone says, all he does is lie, and then you ask them, and then they're like, they never know an actual answer. So, whatever. All right, on to...
Moving on, yes. The AEW International Championship 4-way between the champion, freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy, the New Japan World TV Champion, Zack Sabre Jr., the Ring of Honor Pure World Champion, Katsuyori Shibata, and Daniel Garcia. First off, Daniel Garcia is an absolute menace. This man, he gets punched in the face. I love the fact that people are going like, Daniel Garcia just wants to vibe out. He wants to rock out with his cock out and just dance. And people are getting mad at him for it. As he's just doing his hip gyrations, people punch him. He's like, nah, I'm going to keep doing it. Nah. And they just start beating him up until he comes off the ropes and clotheslines Zack Sabre Jr. and Shibata. And then he's just like, yeah, fucking let's go. Yeah. And it's the dumbest thing in the world, but I love it. Like, it doesn't fit Daniel Garcia the way that he looks, the way that he talks, or anything like that. But the fact that he just runs with it. I can't help it. It's the funniest shit in the world.
Daniel Garcia, sports entertainer, was the greatest thing to ever happen to Daniel Garcia. I'm like, I think he'd be tearing it up with the Black Bull Combat Club, but getting to show his personality and getting to just like kind of enjoy wrestling, but also be a badass, I think it's going to be better for him in the future than, just being
in the BCC,
just being an ass kicker. I even Yuta's showing a lot more personality in the BCC.
He has,
and I think that was perfect for him. That's what he needed, and what Daniel Garcia needed is this time in the JAS as a sports entertainer. His time to be killer Daniel Garcia that chokes you out and taps you out will come. But right now, showing personality, I think he's gaining fans, gaining more attention. You also see one of those things I always talk about, physiques. He's gaining bulk because that dude was like early Zack Sabre Jr. skinny when he came in, and he's really putting in the work on his physique. And when it is his time to get pushed, he's going to have both the body, and I've never questioned his wrestling skills. He's very good in the ring. So when, you take the personality, the wrestling skills, the physique, he can be one of your top guys one day.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I absolutely agree with that. But this match was damn good. Shibata, is so freaking, him and Zack Sabre Jr. just getting straight into New Japan, just absolute strong style, kicking the hell out of each other. Zack Sabre just using his outstanding technical wrestling to just manipulate the human body in ways that it shouldn't move. And Orange Cassidy, dude, that man busting his ass. So much so that he got Bryan Danielson to shout him out at the media scrum, being like, I didn't get him, but that dude's amazing. He's outstanding. And I was like, dude, you got the Dragon to shout you out after being like, I don't get it. And then you changed my mind, straight up.
I don't know anyone that isn't like that when it comes to him, because that was me. That was me. I mean, I didn't get him at first. I was like, I thought this was a cool little gimmick, but it would get old, and he would go the way of Santino Marella, R-Truth, all that stuff. And that dude has grown so much in his character, grown so much in his role in AEW. And I just, it took me a while, but I just accepted that he's an exceptional professional wrestler. And last night did nothing to go against that. Now he's wrestling hurt, and he's selling the injuries while he's doing all the moves. And it's even showing another level of how exceptional he is. Zack Sabre Jr., I think in every Fatal 4-Way and every 3-Way, most wrestling people will say this, there is somebody that is the glue, the person that holds the 4-Way match together. I felt like ZSJ was very much the glue of this match. I felt like he was the quarterback. Everything kind of went through him. Shibata was brilliant. This was probably my second favorite match of the night.
Yeah, honestly, dude, it was just really good. And I love too how Shibata beat the hell out of Garcia and looked like he was gonna get it. But Orange Cassidy goes, takes out his kind of friend a little bit.
He had to do the heel thing to keep the champion.
Did. He had to, just to make sure he kept the belt, and he got Shibata out of there, rolls up Garcia after all the work's done, and he retains the title. And him and Shibata still shook hands. The relationship is mended for a little bit. Not mended enough for Shibata to put the sunglasses back on, sadly, but we can't get there immediately.
This is the highest level of respect I can give Orange Cassidy. As far as this gimmick, because I think Cody did it really well in TNT, defending the title wearing on him. I honestly think Orange Cassidy has surpassed Cody
for title reigns.
Just the progression of the body and how it's affecting him, and actually telling the story about being desperate to keep the title. You know what I mean? I think he has reached this level where it's like you believe it every time that Orange Cassidy has finally found something he cares about. And now that he's found something that he truly cares about, he will do anything to keep it. I don't think this is leading to a heel turn, but it might end up leading to like a crisis of faith that plays out on TV.
Maybe just a little bit, yeah. But
what are you willing to do? You know what I mean?
For real. Moving on, we have the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match between Sonata and Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Sonata had Daoki by his side, and Jungle Boy had the FTW champion Hook by his side. Gotta say, bit of a disappointment of a match for me personally. Sonata was good, Jungle Boy was good, but nothing was really making me go like, wow. And it definitely hurt that it followed the four-way a little bit, I will say. And also, too, nobody in their mind thought Sonata was losing that belt to Jungle Boy. So it kind of just became a match that not a lot of people really, attached to.
So this is what I got to put on them, right? So you had Jungle Boy saying, you had Sonata saying, I don't know who you are. You had Jungle Boy saying, I don't know who Sonata is. And it seemed very personal, right? The match, in my opinion, from what I saw, now somebody might have saw different, they could have wrestled a lot more aggressive and personally. Like, when Jungle Boy comes out there with Sonata, like, oh, you don't know who I am, and he's talking, and then just slaps the shit out of Sonata.
Yeah.
And
they could have gotten way more
physical, and then Sonata, of course, wins, but you could have, sometimes knowing the outcome can affect the match if you let it. Sometimes if you play up the story, you can get caught up in the match and forget what you know. And it was just like, they didn't do a good job of forgetting making us forget what we knew. And it was a very, like I said, very good. I mean, they're very capable professional wrestlers. It was a very capable wrestling match. It was a very good wrestling match. It told the story that Sonata was just better than Jungle Boy. Sonata didn't even have to use, any of his big finishers, He used his, secondary finisher to beat Jungle Boy, because Jungle Boy just not on that level yet. So that was disappointing. Jungle Boy also, to me, his frustration in losing during the match, of frustration of not being able to keep him down, I think he could have played that up more. You know what I mean? Because what was about to happen, you don't necessarily want to telegraph it, but you do want to foreshadow it, so people will be like, oh, yeah, that thing he did that led to that. And it was like, once the thing happened, everybody's like, okay, we kind of knew it was coming, but I don't think he made sense in his storytelling.
Yes, so basically, after Sonata won, Hook helps Jungle Boy to his feet. They walk up the ramp, and then Hook gets dropped by Jungle Boy, clothesline across the neck. And he's being like, what? And does the waving out. And he just, you've got Taz being like, the hell are you doing, man? And just getting him all riled up. And Jungle Boy walks to the back as Hook is knocked down. And Taz, basically, before he leaves the commentary booth for the night, says he is a dead man.
Yes. So, and let me tell you, Taz sold the heel turn the best. He
damn straight he did.
Took off his glasses, kept saying, "I'm gonna try to remain professional," and the crowd screaming, "You fucked up!" And he's like, "The crowd is telling him what you did. You definitely effed up." And it was just like, Dad came out. It wasn't Taz. It wasn't the character Taz that talks shit. It was Dad that came out, and you got to hear
that's somehow
Dad.
Scarier than Taz.
Yeah, it was definitely scarier than Taz. And it was like Dad came out, and he was somber, because you know how some people, like, when they're trying to get mad, they yell, but honestly, when you like really angry, you get almost like, I wouldn't call it calm, but quiet, because you're trying to maintain yourself. And he did that perfectly. I was scared for Jungle Boy's life. And it was like, I know Hook's going to mess you up, but I thought Taz was going to go choke him out.
Yeah. And I saw two different reactions from my good friends who watch wrestling. Of course, Floyd tweeted out after this happened, Jungle Boy has finally become a jungle man. And my good friend Jared O'Brien, go subscribe to his YouTube channel, The Tune Up. I text him the video, and he literally goes, Jungle Boy diss track drops tomorrow. Because he loves Hook. And I really hope that he gets to enjoy this feud, because I think having Hook get a real blood feud is going to be huge for him, especially. So I'm excited for this whole thing.
And I don't believe still, like, at this point, Hook has taken a singles loss. So
not yet.
I think Jungle Boy might be the guy to do that. Everybody has said he's going back with Christian. Maybe Jungle Boy tries to do it on his own. I don't know. He's not really strong on the mic, because I even said it. The heel turn is great, but what is going to sell it, and what is going to tell me who he's going to be as a heel, is that first promo after he turns heel. Now, will he be cutting the promo, or will Christian be cutting the promo? I don't know, but, it needs to be, I wouldn't even say it needs to be a home run, but it needs to be a double. You need to give me a double. I'm not saying
it can't just be a bloop single.
Yeah, it has to be, like, using sports terms, you got to give me a double. You have to give me a solid, this is why, you have something I want, you're jealous of me, do the thing. You can hit all the pro wrestling notes, because it's not going to be in what you're going to say. It's not. It's truly, the word choice is not going to matter. It's going to be in how you say it. Are you going to convince me that you hate Hook? Are you going to convince me that you don't like the fans? With your emotions, with your eyes, with everything. That's what it's going to take to make me believe Jungle Boy is a heel.
Yeah. I think we can get there. And I think this could be exactly what Jungle Boy needs. So I'm hoping this all works out.
Absolutely.
Now we move on to the 5-on-5 match between the Blackpool Combat Club, including Shota Umino and Konosuke Takeshita. First of all, love the fact that Shota literally did not get the memo. Wear black and don't worry about the fans, because Shota comes out with a white jacket and is just out there high-fiving the fans as the Blackpool Combat Club.
And there was this really awesome moment where he's high-fiving the fan, and Mox stares at him, kisses, kind of grabs him around the head. It wasn't a kiss, but it was just like really close to his head, and like, come on, like, hey, we hate them.
Yeah, like, Shota, come on, get over here.
Yeah, like,
it was very, very funny.
Like, when you're in America, you're not a fan favorite. Like, you're not. No, we don't do that.
Not right now, at least. Yeah. But then they faced off against Eddie Kingston, Tomohiro Ishii, and the Elite. Gotta say, for me, this was my number 2 match. I gotta say, this match was just fucking so much shit going on, dude. It was absolutely, like I said, how it typically goes when you see the Elite. Like, if I were to go move for move, it would just be pointless. The one thing I would say, though, is that Tomohiro Ishii got absolutely fucking clocked by, I believe it was Takeshita. But he got an elbow to the head that just I've never seen a man like Ishii fucking take a shot like that and just go. Like, it was unreal. Like, he got rocked in that match, I gotta say. And then just the whole thing, dude, like Eddie constantly trying to get at Claudio, but then also too the moments where they're just chopping. Him and Moxley are just chopping the shit out of each other while all of them are doing like dives to the outside and they just keep chopping each other was just amazing. And I also love the fact too that after the match though, during the match he still is trying to protect John Moxley a little bit because like dude, they fight, but this man looks at at John Moxley like a brother, like a family figure, even though they just beat the hell out of each other. There's so many levels to Eddie Kingston and his character, dude. He's seriously one of my favorites. Seriously one of my favorites.
Dude, so we've seen many different people try to do the complicated storyline in wrestling, and a lot of them don't do it well. You know what I mean? Eddie Kingston's not one of those people. I hate Claudio. I don't hate you, but I do hate you for being with Claudio kind of thing. It's so complicated, so convoluted, and it's so above what wrestling is, like, or has ever been.
It shouldn't, exactly.
It shouldn't work, but he makes it work. In this match, like, him and Mox chopping the shit out of each other, but in each chop, it wasn't anger. It was like a respect in each chop because they fought before. That's not a problem.
Oh, yeah,
that's not a problem. They are brothers in every sense of the term. They'll beat the shit out of each other, but don't try to mess with them. And it was just like they were beating the shit out of each other, and Eddie was fine as long as he was the one hitting Mox. When anybody else went to hit Mox, he did not like that at all because it has nothing to do with the BCC. It has everything to do with he hates Claudio. And I love this story, and I love how it played out in this match. I think it was the thing that kept this from just being another great BCC and the Elite match. Again,
there was a legit story that worked with it, yes.
Yes. Go again. That's what I said my problem was with the BCC and the Elite, that I didn't feel like there was an emotional connection to the story.
Having Takeshita there, having Eddie in there,
it made me feel through the whole match. I saw someone throw 5 stars, and I was like, it almost seemed like I didn't even react because it almost seemed so natural. Because when you have these people in the ring, right? Any of these people against each other individually, you would expect an amazing match, right? So then when you got these 5 people fighting each other, it's like, oh, it's gonna be an exceptional match. You almost take it for granted. But then Eddie Kingston, Takeshita knocking the shit out of Ishii, and they having their blow contest, and everything else going around added so much depth through the emotion of this match that I really liked it. And you know, every time the Young Bucks were hitting Takeshita, they were yelling, "Go to hell." You know, they were literally like, "We hate you." Even though we have a problem with them, we hate you more. And I just thought each individual person did a good job of telling their individual rivalries and stories in the match.
I absolutely agree. Yeah, like I said, it's the one thing that is definitely held back the Elite in terms of like I've always said the Elite are great with storylines that involve like with each other, but then like some points like it just feels like it's just, you know, there's venom in this feud. This feud is personal, but then they're still doing a whole bunch of flippy stuff that like it's like, you know, it's very showboaty, and it doesn't feel like you're actively trying to hurt your opponent. You're just trying to do all this crazy shit. And I think the addition of Eddie, and I think the addition of Ishii and Claudio being tied with Eddie and Moxley's issues with Eddie, it just added. And like again, it's like after the match, even though the BCC won, like, and he was just like, because he had to inflict violence on Moxley and like in the way that he did, and also because he didn't get the amount of damage that he wanted with Claudio, he's still mad at like the people that he straight up just doesn't like, doesn't respect, doesn't trust in the Elite. So, hey, no progress was made there. So that's how that goes.
No progress at all.
Yeah, but no, that would be my second favorite match, honestly, on the card. Next was the AEW Women's World Championship match between Toni Storm and the New Japan Strong Women's World Champion Willow Nightingale. I knew in my heart of hearts that Mercedes Moné wasn't showing up. I knew, but I was still kind of like, I would have fucking flipped out. But then also, too, the fact, like, you know what? If that was happened, I probably would have, like, actively jumped out my window. But you know what? We're good. This was a good match, I will say. I think, like, Toni, in the way that she really gets like so heated in her matches too. I love Toni Storm. Seriously, she's one of my favorite girls in the women's division, I think, right now. And Willow is outstanding. They did a good job, I gotta say. This definitely was a solid match. And considering it did follow the insanity that is you have to follow an elite match, it's a tough spot to be in. I don't think they took too much of a hit, though. I felt like they still held it strong, and Toni Storm was able to gouge the eyes out and spike her with the Storm Zero, get the win. And then you had Sky Blue and Dr. Britt Baker watching us because they're going to be facing those two girls off against in the women's Owen Hart tournament. I thought this was damn solid. I got to say, because these two are two of the like top tier girls in the women's division for AEW, and just I thought they did a really good job.
I thought they did a really good job. I love sending the outcast away, teasing. Like I said, kind of bringing you in. No one thought Toni Storm was losing, but with them throwing the outcast out, it gave you that moment of doubt that maybe they go ahead and pull the trigger on Willow. I didn't think they would, but it did give me that moment of doubt because they generally throw the people out. Then Toni winning with the eye poke and the pile driver seemed kind of perfect. It felt like they might have wanted something else here, but I think they did a good job as far as holding it down for the women's division. I'm hoping next year we might get 2 women's matches. During
on the main card, not just the one on 0 hour as well.
Correct.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. Then the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship match, Omega Ospreay 2. Fucking hell, dude! Like, straight up, this is my match of the year. Not only that, this is currently at this moment in time, I think, if I'm going straight up just like by the numbers, not taking personal feelings like of certain wrestlers out of it, this is my match of all time. Like, this is my favorite match. These two were outstanding because to all of you fucking schmucks, proclivity for positivity and all that, like we always say, but to all of you schmucks who go into Forbidden Door and be like, where's the story? I don't see story. This is like, what? Why should I care? Pay the fuck attention and you will see a storytelling masterclass on top of some of the best wrestling you have ever seen in your life. The story coming from Kenny Omega leaving New Japan and the shoes that had to be filled. Who was going to take New Japan and carry it on their back? Not to mention the man who was going to have to do that through a global pandemic where fans were not allowed to be in attendance. Who was going to do that? It was Will Ospreay. And he did a damn good job, but he wasn't Kenny Omega. And Omega said that. And that led into their match at Wrestle Kingdom, where Kenny Omega left him bloodied and battered through his head, through a Japanese table and all that kind of stuff, and still showed you 364 days out of the year, you are the best wrestler. Not the day that you face Kenny Omega. And then Ospreay comes back, wants to do it on his turf, wants to do it in Canada at Forbidden Door, wants to win back the U.S. title. And he goes through and he literally takes Omega, throwing his head straight through the table, the announcer's table, like beating the hell out of him. And Omega, not even mincing either, continuing to give Ospreay hell. And then tying in the storyline that Omega has with Don Callis and Konosuke Takeshita. Don Callis comes out with armed security for Will Ospreay that he's completely fine with. And we were worried, like Floyd and I were worried. We didn't want the match to end because of shenanigans that were storyline driven. And we thought that might happen. Ospreay gets the referee distracted thanks to Don Callis, who got tossed but still came back because rules are bullshit, apparently. And he gets handed the screwdriver. And he uses it on him as he goes for the one-winged angel. He hits him with an Oz cutter. And as it looks like he's going to go out and he's going to beat Kenny Omega, he kicks out. And it's just, then all of a sudden you were like, oh my God. And then Ospreay starts doing V-triggers. And then also proceeds to go ahead and hit a one-winged angel. And Omega kicks out at 1, and the crowd comes unglued. And then the scariest moment in the match was that Tiger Driver 91. Like, I genuinely thought Omega might have been paralyzed. Like, the way that his head and neck compressed, I was terrified. And I gotta say straight up, like, the match didn't need that, I will say. The match would have been amazing without that. Did it add a different element to it? Yes, but maybe not an element that we would all want. I'm not going to get in the argument of should they have done it, should they have not have done it. I'm not a wrestler. I don't say those types of things. They were comfortable doing it. It's not a safe thing to do. Obviously, it's wrestling. Nothing's safe. We'll talk about a guy who got injured. We'll talk about a guy who got injured literally out of nowhere from basic shit.
I will say this. I don't know if he was supposed to land like that. I don't think I personally don't believe he was supposed to land like that. And it was a mistake that it happened. And unfortunately in wrestling, shit happens. You know what I mean? It's just shit happens, you know, and it's just like, I will personally say, I've never trained to be a professional wrestler. I've never taken a bump. I don't know what it is to wrestle that long and be as sweaty as you are and try to control a man's body weight. I don't know what that is. I will never know what that is. I would imagine putting myself mentally in that position, it would be quite difficult, right? But dangerous moves. If Will Ospreay came out and said, I'm never doing that move again, okay, it wouldn't change my life at all. If Will Ospreay said, oh, it didn't go the way we were supposed to, cool. Because those type of moves are between the two wrestlers and the medical staff. Yes. It's not for me to comment on. Anyone can comment on it. It's free country, you know, the blah, blah, blah. Everyone says you can comment on what you want. But my personal position is this. I don't know enough to give an intelligent comment on it.
Exactly.
So
we are just fans at the end of the day. We don't do this.
Yes.
They are trained professionals at this in a profession where shit can go sideways. All right? If they were comfortable doing it in a 39-plus minute match towards the tail end of it, and they were comfortable. Remember, these guys have done hour-long matches plus. They clearly have shown to have the stamina to do this, and they are comfortable with it. It was a scary moment. Like, again, we are not the wrestlers. I'm not going to tell a wrestler how to do their job. I'm not going to tell somebody how to do their job when I don't know the first damn thing about their job. That's simple.
I can tell you what I don't want to see at the moment. I will tell you. I am kind of numb to these things. I didn't even notice it was a problem. I was like,
I thought it was a scary ass move. I
thought it was an ugly bump. But once I saw Kenny move, I was like, whatever, and moved. You know, I moved on with my day. You know what I mean? I didn't even think about it again.
Right. So
yeah.
Regardless of the fact, though, Ospreay, Hidden Blade, he beats Omega. He wins the IWGP US Championship back. He finally has a win over Omega in his home country, sorry. And dude, it was fucking outstanding. Like, this match was so good. And like I said, after this match ended, I was like, we should have been there. We would have been there if it wasn't for me being a schmuck. And again, I'm past it at this point. You know, it is what it is. Like I'm not gonna dwell on it, but that's straight up what I said. But yeah, dude, it was just absolutely spectacular. Like there is a reason why Kenny Omega is the best bout machine. There is a reason why he is who he is. Even if we are getting towards the tail end of Kenny Omega doing matches like this, like nobody does this type of stuff like him. Stop it with your constant, where's the story? Like y'all don't pay the fuck attention, clearly, because that shit was masterful. Not just from a wrestling standpoint, but from a story perspective. They absolutely called on previous things that light your head up in the way that it's supposed to because of how this shit is supposed to be done. Ospreay, seriously outstanding. I want him to be in the UK for All In because that crowd will go mega shit. Like, if he shows up, and he needs to. He says that date's open for him, so TK, make it fucking happen. Straight up. It's my match of the year. Not even a close conversation at this point, dude. It's my match of the year.
Well, I keep going back and forth today about whether it's this or the January 4th match. I truly thought the January 4th match was right there with Okada Dominion match as far as the best matches I have ever seen, as far as what I look for in the matches and the drama and all that kind of stuff. So, and in this one, they come out and they do it. And about halfway through, I was like, I don't feel like this is hitting January 4th. And then the end with Kamigoye, and then a one-winged angel and the kick out at one, and the hidden blade, and then, you know, he had to hit his finisher twice, and it was just, to me, it was so expertly done. The story's so well done that Kenny Omega's better than Will Ospreay. And Will Ospreay needed everything. Like a screwdriver, his finisher twice, using Kenny Omega's finishes against him. He needed all of that to beat Kenny Omega. To get that one win over Kenny Omega, he needed all of that. How resilient Kenny Omega was. When you talk about a person not losing anything in a loss, Kenny Omega lost nothing last night. And I think Will Ospreay didn't lose anything like that. This was two of the best storytellers, best performers that I've pretty much ever seen as the way they tell stories. Believe me, there are people that wrestle less athletic style that I enjoy just as I can enjoy just as much. But these dudes understand the story they want to tell so well. So well. Like, after the match, I thought I had everything. And I get in the Social Suplex Network, and they point out different spots that would happen and what that happened and what it meant. And how, and then you had where, he was doing the Canadian moves, and then he took the flag from the kid and did all that.
Oh my God, dude! I didn't even mention that. Yeah, that was out full on Shawn Michaels in Toronto in Montreal, full on, up his nose and all that kind of stuff. The kid got it back after Ospreay got hung with it by Omega, and they gave the flag to the kids. It was amazing.
Yeah, they didn't give the flag back to the right person, though.
No, they didn't. They just gave it to the kids, though, which I think is even better.
No, I hope the other person got his fucking flag back. That's what I was like. I'd been pissed.
You'd be take that flag back from those kids.
Yeah. Dude, I tell you this right now. I would have taken a wrestling used flag in one of the greatest wrestling matches ever. What kind of memento is that?
You're gonna steal that from a kid?
No, I'm not gonna steal it. I'm gonna take my damn flag back. How's it stealing when it's yours? How's it stealing when it's yours?
Apparently, it's not yours anymore, according to Kenny Omega.
No,
are you gonna disagree with Kenny Omega?
Absolutely gonna disagree with Kenny Omega. Yeah, I'd have thought that. Hey, I would have got pulled out by security trying to get my shit back. That was a ring used Will Ospreay Kenny Omega flag. Think about that.
I'm aware.
You get them to sign that. You go put that on eBay. That's probably going for $3 or $4 grand, easy. No,
You're so awful.
I love kids. I love kids, but that's mine. Why would I give him something that's mine? I mean, there's difference. It'd be Cody's coming out to give out the weight belt, and he looks like he's going to give it to me, and there's a kid next to him. It's like, give it to the kid. I don't care, right? But I didn't. I brought the flag. He took the flag out of my hand. I'm supposed to get that flag back. Correct?
Hey, man. I ain't saying nothing.
Unless the parents are about to give me money or something. Because literally,
I need a trade.
Yeah, because you just stole something from me.
There it is. Now, we didn't actually mention this at the top of the show. I will say this because we're on the semi-main event right now of this show. Unfortunately, our good friend Adam Cole, Bebe, caught down with an illness. They had to pull him from the show a couple hours beforehand. It's very sad to see. So they ended up doing a dark match because Adam Cole was supposed to face Filthy Tom Lawler. Tom Lawler did end up wrestling. He faced Serpentico in a quick 4-minute match. And that was a dark match. So Lawler did at least get to wrestle on the show. Hopefully he got paid like he was supposed to, I will say. But yeah, it was an absolute bummer, dude.
I mean, if you know TJ, everybody gets paid like no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But regardless of the fact, though, I will say, though, I don't know where that match would have fucking gone, though, on this show. Like, looking down at the card, like, I don't know where it would have gone. Like, maybe after Punk Kojima, I guess. But, man, dude, like, you add another 10, 15 minutes onto this show, that was, like, holy shit. But, like, I do feel bad for Adam Cole. Like, it was a bummer, especially considering, because didn't he get hurt at Forbidden Door last year?
He got hurt at Forbidden Door. The big
That's what I was going to say. When he won, he got the concussion after he won the Owen Hart tournament the first year. Yeah, so then he doesn't get to wrestle on Forbidden Door too. It sucks. It does. But at least he got to tour Nintendo of America. I did see him and Britt Baker did that. So, I'm sure he had a blast there, but sucks that he got sick and he couldn't be there. So forgot to mention that though, wanted to say that. But getting into the semi-main event after this was the trios match between Darby Allin, Sting, and Tetsuya Naito versus Les Suzuki Gods, Chris Jericho, Minoru Suzuki, Sammy Guevara. Everyone's so mad because Naito didn't take his shirt off. He didn't care. It's the one thing I see people still talk about. It's like, Naito didn't care. It's a trios match.
T-shirt Naitos. That's what you get for trios matches, damn it.
That's what you get. Like, I can't even deny it, dude. Like, listen, Tetsuya Naito, this man he's main evented Tokyo Domes. Correct me if I'm wrong. Right?
He has. Yes.
He's main evented Tokyo Domes. And you're being like, take your shirt off. It's Forbidden Door. He is a trios match going after the match of the year. What do you want him to do? I'm just saying, guys. Like, come on here. Like, I'm beating a dead horse, but there's levels to this shit. I understand why we got T-shirt Naito. I understand. All right? Let's calm down a bit. But this was fun, honestly. Seeing Sting and Jericho in the ring together was fun. It was a fun match. I can't deny. The pose of the Les Suzuki Gods of Sammy, Jericho, and Suzuki. Like, I need that framed. I need that framed.
That made the night.
Seriously, it made the match.
Yeah, like, because I thought the match was largely forgettable.
It was fine. Like, it was a good match. It was fine. Like, the 630 on the Sting through the table was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Straight up.
But,
like,
yeah.
That's
it was fine.
So,
it
was solid. Naito gets the win on it with the Destino, and gets the help from Sting. Good guys go up. I'm all for it. Darby disappeared for a good half of the match, I will say, though. But I don't really care. It's whatever. But it was fine. Did what it needed to do. We go in from that to the main event for the first time ever. Dreamiest of dream matches. The American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. The Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada. Danielson comes out to the final countdown. He hasn't come out to that song since 2009 in his final Ring of Honor show before he went to WWE. I guess Tony Khan has said that getting that music was a one-time thing, and they were charging him per play, and it was literally the cost of a wrestler's contract. First of all, Europe, calm the fuck down, dude. I get it. It's your only hit song. No one knows you for anything else. I understand. Like, I'm sure you're haughty and toddy about that or whatnot. But, like, come on. Also, can we give an applause to Excalibur, Detroit's own, shouting out the bad boy Detroit going to work Pistons, saying how they used the Final Countdown for that time frame, and I remember that because I was at those games, and that's how I associate the Final Countdown mostly. So the fact that he said that on Forbidden Door,
You were at what games?
the Detroit Pistons when they would play at the Palace.
Oh, are you talking about like the 2000 Detroit Pistons?
No, yeah, they would use it in that era too. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was thinking the 88.
From the Bad Boys through like when they were still at the Palace. Yes, they used that song.
I was thinking 88. I was like, yes. You weren't alive.
I know that. Yes. No, but no, they absolutely did use it for the going to work 2003, 2004 Pistons, who I did see in their prime. Yes.
Yes. Okay. I was genuinely befuddled for a moment.
No. Like, calm down.
I was like, this dude didn't discover time travel. I don't know.
Oh, no, my son doesn't realize how time works. No. But I just love that Excalibur said that, though. Now, it has to be said, 10 minutes into this match, Danielson fractured his arm. He fractured his arm, and it clearly cost a lot of the match. Danielson even said in the media scrum, like, yes, I had to change some things that I wanted to do, but couldn't do because of my arm. To the point where he even said that he did the yes chants for only the second time in AEW, straight up, because he's like, all right, I need people to get hyped in this match. What's an easy way to do that? Yes! And he could only do it with one arm. I love that he said that, though, just straight up. He's like, hey, it's an easy thing to fall back on. I'm not going to do it anymore, but it's an easy thing to fall back on. I said straight up when this match ended, they left something on the table. I just didn't realize that they left something on the table because Danielson was legitimately hurt. And the timetable for that, at least right now, is 6 to 8 weeks. It's not the worst thing in the world. I wish it was speeding recovery, and I also appreciate the shout-outs that Danielson gave to their medical staff, for real, talking about how like they didn't rush him or Adam Cole back when they got hurt. And it's like, no, we're going to make sure this is perfectly good before we're not trying to rush you back. Coming from a place where like, CM Punk said in his StarCast 3 interview where he's literally had Vince tell him, Vince, my knee is hurt. And he's like, so-and-so came back from that injury in 2 weeks. And he's like, fucking great. Like, there's no need to rush this shit back. Get healthy and then be okay to be able to come back and do what you do best. So I said that this match left stuff on the table. I didn't realize at the time that it was because Danielson was hurt, which is a bummer. But like I said, Danielson said that he wants the rematch because he wants to break Okada. And I'm right there with him. This was great for the moment that we saw Danielson and Okada. It clearly didn't get to the point that we wanted it to because of the circumstances. But I will say it was still crazy. When Danielson got Okada to tap out, fucking flip. I couldn't believe it. Like, I think TK said it hadn't been since Shinsuke Nakamura made Okada tap out. So I was stunned when that happened, but it was good. But unfortunately, like I said, because of the circumstances, the match took a hit, and it's wrestling, it's going to happen. But I'm just waiting for the rematch. I'm just waiting for the rematch.
Yeah, this match. Okay, first of all, it came at the end of a very long night.
Oh, absolutely.
I was watching it with my friend Steve, and JG made it in time. They're from my group, The Club. They're from our group, The Club. So they came over and watched the match, and it was like JG had been running around for his wife. Steve had watched the whole show with me, so we were all a little tired when we were watching it. And I'm watching it, and I'm waiting for it to get out of second gear. Right? It felt like it was in second gear, and I was waiting for it to kick into that full throttle, and then the match ended. That's literally how I felt. I felt like I saw some great mat wrestling, saw the Rainmaker, saw all these good moves, the Tombstone on the outside, and it was like, okay, now the match is about to like really get cooking, and then it was over. And it was fine, but it wasn't what I needed it to be. So that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, and again, like I said,
I know the arm injury and everything, but I'm just trying to look at it as a match. I understand.
No, straight up, yeah,
and
absolutely.
I'm just trying to look at it as a match because, of course, I didn't know his arm was broken at the time because that dude's a soldier. But man, yeah, it was like dream match, just the greatest, two of the greatest performers ever, and then yeah, we just kind of got a match.
Yeah, a good match, but just not what you expect for a first time ever Bryan Danielson Kazuchika Okada match. That's straight up it. But regardless, that was Forbidden Door 2. Still wish I was there, but we're not going to dwell on it.
Yeah, you know what? Let's do Forbidden Door 3 in Detroit. You know,
make it up to me, dog, at this point, for real.
Yes, no, make it easy.
You said Detroit's getting a pay-per-view, TK. Tell me why it can't be Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
Tell me why can't it be that?
Yeah, yeah, so no, it could be. I really enjoyed the show. And I loved Toronto's crowd was amazing. I still, like, even after watching it, and I was hoping, after watching it, everything was so good that I've been like, okay, now I get why FTR wasn't on the show. After watching the show, I really don't get why FTR wasn't on the show.
There you go.
I really don't
exactly.
get
Considering the fact that Adam Cole got pulled last minute, you telling me FTR couldn't work a match?
Yeah, it was just like, I mean, you can't book everybody on every show. I mean, like Keith Lee, you could go through the list. Britt Baker wasn't on the show. You could go through a whole bunch of list of important people that weren't on the show. The Trios champions weren't on the show. No. So don't get me wrong. I am just an FTR fan. So I'm going to want to see FTR wrestle. Jackie, being the great friend that she is, the amazing friend, says, you know why they weren't on the show, right? Because they knew you weren't going to be there. And I was like, I will accept that.
There you go.
No, because I assume they're going to be at All In, and I assume they're going to be at All Out. That should, that probably might be making me an ass of myself. But I assume they're going to be at those shows, and I plan on being at both of those shows, so I'm very excited. But yeah, I did think it. I thought that triple threat tag team match last year was a big part of why Forbidden Door was good, not just because it was FTR. It was just it was a good match, and they had Dax, the injury, and then he came back, and it was that moment. And let me tell you, surprise appearances, we didn't get enough on this show.
Yeah.
And that is a key to me. I find
remember Forbidden Door 2, Forbidden Door 1, we got the debut of Claudio.
Yes. So we got, and I've realized when you talk about the greatest AEW pay-per-views ever, there's usually a debut or an appearance that you didn't expect or something. And it was like, I think they tried to give it to you with Jungle Boy, but everybody kind of saw that coming. So it was just like, maybe Kenta comes out and points at CM Punk after the match. Doesn't do anything.
Exactly.
Doesn't do anything. Just kind of points at him where you have this moment. So, I mean, we had the turn, and we had the final countdown. Great moments, but they didn't really hit that pay-per-view level. And it's unfortunate that you start expecting that, because you can't surprise people every show.
I'll tell you straight up right here, right now. Like, we have the G1 climax coming up very, very shortly.
Yeah.
And you could have easily had some guys fly over and just appear to kind of build up to the G1. Give a little promotion for New Japan. I mean, the G1 is coming up very, very soon. So looking through some of the people, for example, remember, Eddie Kingston's going to be in one of those blocks. He's in Block C, and so is Ishii, and so is Shingo. And you couldn't have had, say, Tama Tonga show up, or, Tanahashi and Naito are going to be in D Block. You couldn't have had somebody from there, like Hiroki Goto, or Toru Yano, any of those guys. Or Kenta's going to be in B Block. He's going to be in the same block as Will Ospreay. You could have had Kenta come out right there, and then all of a sudden, say CM Punk just comes out for a split second, and they just kind of glance eyes at each other. For real. Like, you could have had somebody there that could have been like it. I'm not complaining. The show is outstanding and it was great, but that is, I mean, Floyd is saying something legit. Like, that's something that sets like again, Forbidden Door 1 with the debut of our boy Claudio, and then All Out 2022. There were 3 debuts. There was Ruby Soho, Bryan Danielson, and Adam Cole. Like, and it was Punk's first match too in AEW. So, like, that's still my favorite pay-per-view of all time, straight up. Like, not gonna get anything better than that, I will say. But yeah, no, that I do think that is a thing to bring up for sure. But other than that, I got nothing else. Like, Forbidden Door was amazing. Again, it was outstanding.
Oh yeah, no, it was a great show. I think clearly number 2 for me, and I gotta say, has nothing to do with me being there. I literally tried my best all day to take that part out of it and just like go match by match, show by show. The best match of Forbidden Door was definitely Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay. I mean, but Will Ospreay literally has had the best match at Forbidden Door 2 years in a row.
He has. Yes.
So yeah, and so don't get. I mean, he's Will Ospreay. It's what he does. The only reason Kenny Omega wasn't in the best match last year because he wasn't on the show. You know what I mean? So I think Forbidden Door 3, it can be the biggest show. Like, it could be like Wrestle Kingdom for AEW and New Japan. I think it can be on that level of show. Like I said, I have this thing in this perfect world where they just put best on best and no titles are on the line. That's my thing. I think you wouldn't have so many obvious, winners or whatever and losers, and you just, put on a great performance. Maybe I'm probably the only one that thinks that way, but I was just like, dude, just let's do this show without titles. You know what I mean? Just put on banger matches. Because the show is usually sold out without announcing a match. So give us dream matches, give us matches that you don't see, give us multi-man matches that you usually don't see, and just keep the titles away. It's like this champion's representing this company, this champion's representing this company, but no titles on the line. I literally might be a man on an island with that, but I really would like them to treat it like a true all-star game.
Right. No, exactly.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Regardless, it is what it is. And it was still an outstanding show. We're the proclivity we are the proclivity for positivity, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and I think our opinions are positive. I mean, I do think, there's things I think can do better. One's just literally, I wouldn't even call it better. I just think it's a personal preference for me that I think it would make the show, like Danielson and Okada had no idea how that was going to end. You know why? No title was on the line. It's probably storytelling, and it being an AEW show, you kind of could have figured AEW was going to win, which I've heard people do. But, if you didn't want to, you can be like, oh, no title on the line. Anybody can win. So,
and also, too, let's remember, too, that Forbidden Door 1 had the debut of Shibata in AEW.
Yes. And put on the sunglasses.
That crowd exploded for that, yeah.
Yeah. No,
I was literally walking back to my seat when that happened, and I was just befuddled. But anyways,
that's it.
That's our Forbidden Door review. We don't have anything specifically, I think, announced for Dynamite, at least straight up.
The only thing that came from the scrum, it looks like we're getting Sting and Darby versus Sammy and Chris Jericho.
After Jericho nearly killed a reporter by hitting a water bottle at him.
Yeah, that's literally the only Dynamite preview. That's why I didn't really call this a full episode, because we were just talking about Forbidden Door. There was literally nothing else to go over. I purchased the All Elite edition of AEW Fight Forever today, and it looks like if you order the Elite edition on PS5, I do not know about other systems.
It's pre-ordered on any. If you pre-order the Elite edition on any system, you will get access to it a day early.
Yeah,
so.
Wednesday at, it looks like 8 a.m. Central, so it'd be, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific. You will be able to play the game. I will be asleep then, so I will not be playing the game at 8 a.m., but to all of you out there, I hope you enjoy it. go ahead and go out and buy it. I'm looking forward to playing the
wait
shit
is nearly over.
Yeah,
the wait's nearly over.
First match is CM Punk versus Kenny Omega, and he's going to catch a lot of knees to the face.
Damn straight. Only two other things I want to mention too. Like I said, with that, it's definitely get Fight Forever. But then also two, if you're gonna be in Hamilton, if you're gonna be in Hamilton, Ontario for this week for Dynamite, the day that we are that this will be airing, which is Tuesday, June 27th, there will be a toy drive actually that AEW's Together group are going to be holding at Bounty Hunter Toys in Hamilton, Ontario. They're going to have Ethan Page, who's helping running it, and will be there. Preston Vance and Mark Sterling will also be there. So if you want to take part in a good cause and meet some AEW guys, that'll be happening. So if you're in Hamilton and you're able to make it out there, it's at 6 o'clock, between 6 o'clock and 8 p.m. So, as you're getting ready to head to the day before Dynamite, and you're getting into town and all that kind of stuff, take part in the toy drive. That's going to be a really cool thing. So definitely check that out for sure, I got to say.
All right. Well, that's it for me. What you got?
Yeah, that is it for me. Yeah, again, thank you guys for watching and listening to this episode, a special episode of All Things Elite on AEW New Japan Forbidden Door.
Yeah, we're only 2 episodes away from 200. I've been busy trying to go through old clips, trying to get clips for this monster thing that I want to do for it. That's not my specialty. I'm not patient. So going through these episodes to try to find like our like hotter things that we've said and different predictions that we made is going to be fun. Also, we get the debut of our new entrance done by Mr. Rich Latta, and it's
y'all
amazing.
Are not ready for this,
yeah, dude. It has been so freaking hard for me to wait. I'm literally like, when we do this show, I'm just gonna post the damn audio on our page of just the opening.
Straight up,
yeah, so everyone can hear it. It was amazing. Rich is a fucking genius. Dude, just so good at it. It's so naturally good at it. I mean, he should just be working in the music industry. He's just so talented. And
hire him for your stuff. Like he takes commissions and he does do songs like on request. Like
yes, and if you need the link or anything, it's in the show bio. You definitely want to help get him, because dude is just immensely talented. Somebody that's as good as he is at what he does should be getting paid well for this.
Yeah.
So,
and lastly, I will say too, it has been reported that this the gate for a Forbidden Door was $1.2 million, which would be considered about 1.6 million at least Canadian. So for AEW, it was the biggest number in history for a non-WWE show, and it's the third biggest gate ever in Canada for wrestling. So, like, it is straight up it is AEW's biggest gate.
I would not be surprised if Forbidden Doors not in Canada again next year. I wouldn't be surprised. So, Austin, get that passport situation handled so we can be there.
Trust me, like, this is not going to happen again. I plan on getting my passport renewed, so that way I'm good for whenever, like, I get the chance to go to a different country in time. Like, this is not happening again. I swear on my life, it will not happen again. But thank you guys seriously for listening to this Forbidden Door episode of All Things Elite. Please continue to download this fine show on Google or Apple Podcasts, and if you listen to us on Spotify or wherever you choose to listen to us, please give us a share with your friends, family, coworkers, whoever you wish, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and also leave a rating and a review. It does help us out a ton. You can follow us on Twitter at ATElitePod, at Social Suplex are the guys that make this show possible. Please check out all the other shows they have on their network. I am at Austin Sumowicz, SZUMOWICZ. Floyd is at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter. Hopefully, if y'all are playing online later this week, I'll be kicking your asses as CM Punk in Fight Forever. Y'all aren't ready. I'm going to make all of you go to sleep. Like you will be Juice Robinson. I will make you go to sleep, even if you had your full 8 hours. I promise that. And I will let my boy Floyd take us home on this Forbidden Door episode of All Things Elite.
I'm just going to say, as I often say, enjoy the time that we're in. We have the most wrestling available as far as professional wrestling on TV available ever. Between Raw, NXT, SmackDown, Dynamite, Rampage, Collision, Impact. These are just on TV, and you have ROH and some New Japan shows. You have it all everywhere. So wrestling is as readily available as possible. So make sure you're enjoying it, paying for it, supporting your fans, supporting the people that you like, buying shirts, and then don't forget about indie wrestling. I forget it. I am terrible about it. We have indie scene in Oklahoma, one down in Texas. I don't get to support them as much as I want to, but if you're in their area and you don't have the ability to travel like like we do, you don't have the ability to travel, support your local indie companies. Go out there, go to their shows, and support the wrestlers as they're trying to make their dreams come true. And with that, I will leave you how I always leave you, whether it's home, work, or school. Always do your best to be elite.